from my previous video, I was talking about I was saying, yeah. So I was saying that, you know, for simplicity's sake, we'll just let me clear this, clear all. For simplicity's sake, we'll just say when you have a variable, right? I'll just give you a simple formula, right? You can just remember this, and you say this variable is equal to whatever it is, plus 1 or plus 2, depending on how much you want to increment it, right? The result you get is whatever that variable was plus this addition that you've added, right? So it's just one trick that uh, using programming. But yeah, so basically what happens when you do that, right, is that now this computer will say, okay, first when it's running, it'll say, okay, this person has set this variable is 1, and they put a while loop, meaning whatever instruction they give here, whatever instruction that they give here. And remember also spacing is very important. If you were to write this like here or something like that, that would basically, this thing wouldn't recognize this as part of this. So spacing is very important in Python. But yeah, when you say wow, the computer will get that, okay, so whatever instruction has been put within this line, right, is should be run as long as this condition here is being met, right? So I've said that while this variable that was set here, is less than 6, I want you to run this command over here, right? So what would it do? First it would say, okay, let's print I, right? The value of I. And you can put anything also. You can even put another like instruction. You can be maybe add this to another variable, something like that. Just for this example's sake, we're using print. We're saying print I, right? Print this I in the console. So to go 1, so let me just give you an idea of it. So the computer runs, okay, well, I is less than 6, I is 1, okay, print I, okay, it'll print I. And then since this is a while loop, oh, it'll continue, and then you see, oh, I is being added, 1 is being added to I, right? And then so now this will become 2, this will change to 2, and then it will go back. Since it's a while loop, it will go back. I is less than 2, is less than 6. Is I less than 6? I is 2. Yes, I is less than 6. Print I. What is I? 2. Alright. Prints 2. Goes here. Oh, okay. You're adding I plus 1. Okay. And then adds 1. Now it becomes 3. Goes back. Okay. I is less than 6. Is I less than 6? What is I? 3. Fine. Prints, 3. And so on and so on until it reaches, 6, right? In my previous example, I was saying 5,000, right? So this can run as long as, this I is less than 5,000, it will run. As soon as I is now equal to or greater than, it doesn't meet this condition, that's when it will terminate. And then, this block of code, it will go to the next block of code, right? So I said I was going to give you another example where I explained this to kind of give you an idea of how all this fits in, right? So let's say now, back to this. Let's say you have this list of these months, right? Sales. Let's say from January. So let's say you know that this is January. This is February. And you want to see, okay, what was my profit in the first 6 months, right? So what you do now is that you do a while loop, right? Instead of having to add all these things, right? You can just do a while loop, right? You can say, okay, let me say what's the number of the first month? Okay, it's January, right? So we'll create a variable. Let me just do Jose. We'll create a variable. We'll call it I. Let me use red. We'll call it I. As I've said, I is always a name. I mean, it's a good name for naming your variables. A lot of programmers use I. I mean, you can use other names, especially when you've already used I, but I is always a good way to start. I is equal to, let's say, 1, right? You want to start from the first month, right? And then you can say, wow, right? Um, wow, this I is less than, whilst I is less than 6, you know, uh, let's, oh, sorry, let me do this. Okay. Let's say we also have another variable. We also, because we want to find the profit, let's create another variable before here. Just pretend that this here, this is down here. I don't have space. I should have written this. We'll create another variable. We're going to call it, let's say, first half profit, right? So FH profit. Since you want to calculate the profit for the first 6 months of the year, right? I'm just going to call it first half profit. And then you just set it to 0, right? And then what you do now is that you say, wow, this I is less than 6 months, right? Is less than 6 or any number. I want you to get this value first half profit, right? And add whatever. Remember from the previous thing how I told you that I is equal to I plus 1 or any number, right? allows you to basically allows you to basically what's this allows you to basically add a number to or an already existing variable, right? We can say FHP is equal to FHP plus, right? Plus, now you remember from the previous lesson, I talked about lists, right? How that when you want a certain variable, a certain value in a list, you just have to write the name of the list, right? And you put this notation, and then you write the number, its index, right? Right? So we say that whilst f whilst I is less than 6, right? FHP is equal to, sorry, this first half, this 0 is equal to whatever it was before plus this list, right? This list, uh-huh, which number, because this is a very long list, right? If you just leave it like that, it will give you an error, right? Because it's a list, you can't add like 2 to the list, right? Unless you're adding it as an element of the list, right? Which number am I talking about? Well, if you remember, since I is also corresponding to the number of months in the year, we can say I was list I, right? Sorry, add list I. I don't know if this makes sense. I'll give you another example if you don't understand this. Yeah, I'll give you another example. But yeah, list I, right? Since this number is corresponding to the month, right? So what this would do, but then by now you're probably saying, hey, I thought this starts from 0, 1, 2, 3. What I mentioned in the previous tutorial that this thing always starts from 0, right? So yeah, just for this sake, whenever you're dealing with lists, it's always good to start with the 0, right? You always start with the 0. So I give I the value of 0 instead of 1, right? So, and here, since because you know the fifth term is now the sixth term, we're gonna make this 5. I don't know if this is confusing, but I'll do it again here so that you understand it. I'll give you another example on top of that. So, you know, we're now going to say, okay, whatever values of HP, add, this list, add this number. Now, you're probably asking, okay, this is going to always be 1, right? This will run indefinitely. Now we're going to add 1 to I. So I is equal to I plus I plus 1, right? So now, when this block of code has been run, you know, I will now become 1, right? Because now it's 0, right? And then, is 1 less than 5? Yes, 1 is less than 5. Cool. FHP is equal to FHP. What is FHP? Okay, since here it is 2000, now FHP would be 2000. 2000, right? From the previous iteration of the code. And then 2000 plus list I. What is I? I is now 1. Oh, 0, 1. Okay. Now 2000 plus 100. And now this is 2100. And then, up to, you finish the first 6 months and then you get your profit. Okay. I don't know if this makes sense. I'm almost running out of time. So, in the next tutorial, I'll give you an example oh, okay, no, I haven't used this. Yeah, I'll give you an example using this compiler, using actual Python code. So yeah,